The voice. He never expected to hear. The five-star hotel lobby buzzed like a hive of luxury. Designer luggage paraded across polished marble floors, accompanied by hurried heels and shining leather shoes. The air smelled of fresh flowers, expensive coffee, and urgency dressed in elegance. Amid the constant flow of people, almost invisible to the guests' eyes, was Amara, a young black woman, a cleaning staff member. Her movements were silent, efficient. Her uniform was perfectly pressed, hair neatly tied back, eyes sharp. Everything about her radiated discipline and dignity, but few truly saw her. She wasn't noticed by those who only saw status. She was remembered only when something fell on the floor, when a glass needed picking up, when someone said, "Miss, could you clean this up, please?" Amara moved like a shadow among the owners of the world. Quiet, but alert. She observed more than she spoke. She knew the names of all the managers, the flight schedules of the most demanding guests, the languages flowing through the lobby. She also knew how the world saw her, as someone who belonged to the background. But she knew who she was, and she knew what she carried within. That Wednesday morning, while adjusting a bouquet on the central table, the front desk phone rang. The receptionist had stepped away for a few minutes. The other staff were busy checking out a group of Asian executives. Amara hesitated, but her instinct moved faster than doubt. She picked up the phone. "Good morgen, hoe kan ik u helpen?" "Good morning, how may I help you?" she said calmly, naturally, in flawless Dutch. There was a brief silence on the other end. Then, "You speak Nederlands? You speak Dutch?" "Ja, ik ben fluent." "Yes, I'm fluent." The conversation was brief, yet precise. Amara jotted down the information and hung up with the same grace she used to arrange flowers. To her, it was just another act of efficiency. But the person who overheard that call wasn't just anyone. Sitting on a nearby leather couch like a bored king on a private throne was Victor van Dalen, a Dutch billionaire, owner of shipyards and luxury vessels, known as much for his fortune as for his cold demeanor. Italian suit, Swiss watch, the gaze of someone who thought he'd seen everything. He was there for a conference, waiting impatiently for check-in. But in that moment, hearing those fluent words spoken by the woman who cleaned the hallways, his brow furrowed. "Who is she?" he asked the manager, pointing subtly. Amara, sir. Housekeeping staff." "Housekeeping?" he repeated, incredulous. "Yes, sir. Bring her to me. Now." Amara was called. She showed no surprise. She simply straightened her shoulders and walked with steady steps. Unhurried, eyes forward. When she stood before the billionaire, he rose, intrigued. For the first time in a long while, he didn't know what to expect. "Where are you from?" he asked, still in Dutch. "Born in Cabo Verde, raised in Praia, studied languages and international relations in The Hague. I moved here to help my family," she replied firmly. He watched her in silence. He had expected hesitation, submission, but what he found was composure and clarity. "And what are you doing cleaning hotel floors?" he pressed, genuinely curious now. Amara took a deep breath. Her gaze never wavered. "Working, like many, while I observe, learn, and wait. The world thinks it knows who I am just because it hasn't seen all of me yet." That sentence hit Victor harder than he would ever admit. The silence between them wasn't awkward. It was full of admiration. The very next morning before breakfast, Amara received an envelope, an invitation to an interview at the Van Dalen Holdings regional office. She hesitated, not because she doubted herself, but because she knew that moment carried centuries of broken silence. The interview was brief. She impressed them all, not just for speaking 5 languages fluently, but for her strategic vision, her emotional intelligence, her quiet but unwavering leadership. She was hired. She began coordinating the company's international communications division, overseeing multilingual translations, managing global teams, welcoming international investors. Her uniform had changed, but her essence remained the same, determined, alert, unshakable. And in that hotel where she still passed through from time to time, now as a business guest, many still remembered. It was there that an invisible voice was heard for the first time, because Amara was never invisible. The world was simply deaf, and it took just one foreign language for it to finally hear what she had always been: magnificent,